Welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. We're kicking it off once again to give you a recap of everything that happened in this last week of Black College Sports. We had a lot going on, including the CIAA last week, also the SEAC this week, and all the champions that have been crowned. We got the SWAC and MEAC that's going to also be coming up. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, including this inaugural HBCU HBCU NFL Combine, or the NFL HBCU Combine, however you want to put it. So we had a lot of stuff that we want to talk about. Derek, where are you?
Man, I'm chilling. I'm good now because my mom is here visiting. And, you know, it's always good when your mom comes home. Things are a lot better when you have your parent around. You know what I mean?
My mom called me today and said, Keisha, I sent your Girl Scout cookies in your church book by your sister. So parents never stop. They never stop caring. And it's a great thing when you have your parents around. And sometimes I think in those moments, my mom calls and I'm like, okay, Mom, what do you want this time? What do you want this time? And I had to stop and I had to tell myself to stop being selfish because one day we won't have our parents around.
Exactly.
We won't have them. And we're going to wish that they could call and harass us and say something to us. So I was like, okay. And I said, okay, thank you, Mom. But I try to make sure I call my mom every morning when I'm commuting to work. And even if she doesn't answer the phone, she'll always call back no matter what time of day it is. Before they work, doesn't matter. But she did. She said, I sent your Girl Scout cookies and your books for church. So you do. You appreciate your parents. You learn to appreciate them.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, like we're both. One thing, man, you haven't come aside from HBCUs, and you know we both have our moms living, and you know it's funny you say that because right. I find myself thinking the same thing that you were thinking. Hey, Mom, what you want this time? I just talked to you 20 minutes ago. What you need? You know, but right. Now I just be like, "What's up, Mom? How's your day?" You know. So. Yep.
And that's the thing we appreciate.
Yes, indeed. But so let's talk about your week, Kels. I mean, did you have anything interesting go on this week?
I didn't. Actually, I did. I did career day this past week on Thursday. So I was over at Martha Ellen Stillwell School of the Arts. That was my third consecutive year doing that particular career day. The kids look for me every year. And the teachers and the counselors looked for me, so they knew I was coming, so I was there. The kids were excited to see me. I did get some mock interviews. It was exciting because a lot of the kids there were like, I'm choosing a Southern or a Grambling or an Alcorn, a FAMU. They already had these things figured out, a Howard. And it was so interesting because there was a girl that walks in with an Alcorn pullover. She had an Alcorn sweater. And I watched her the whole time, and I was like, I'm going to just wait to call her. And I said, now, where you going with that Alcorn sweater? She said, we the swag town. I said, you just get on out of here. And the girl that was standing with her was going to Grambling because her folks were from Louisiana. So it was nice to catch up with the kids and laugh with the kids, get the kids' pictures, and just kind of have a moment with them to talk about what they were trying to do, what they were looking forward to. And then, of course, I'll have another career day coming up this week on Tuesday. Now, this will be with elementary kids. So, it is. I just get a chance to kind of do different things do different things with different people, and I truly do enjoy it. I truly enjoy it.
So, yeah, my weekend, my life is boring. I'm a single parent, so my life revolves around my daughter. She tried out for softball this week and last week, and she went on a band trip to New Orleans. And then something we did over the weekend, we started walking nature trails because that's my exercise, and she's a nature kid, except for she likes snakes, but she's scared of lizards. So walking in nature trail, a person said, "Hey, there's a snake up ahead, on a log." So she goes running up ahead, but then she's like, "Oh, Dad, there's a lizard," and I'm like, "How are you gonna love snakes that will bite you, but a little baby lizard you scared of?" So, that's something that me and her are going to start doing, because she's a nature kid. Me, I wasn't much of a nature kid growing up, because I caught everything under the sun. Poison ivy, poison oak, poison sumac, till my mama started letting me go out in the woods. So, but for me to have a nature kid, I think that's kind of awesome.
That is, and I don't think I'm not a nature person. I've only gone camping one time in my entire life, and the one time that I actually went camping, at the time it's the guy that was in band with me in high school, and I still to this day call him my baby brother. And just imagine now he's a Kappa, so you can imagine the pretty boy stigma. And he and I went camping. I'll tell you how bad it was, so I won't harp on this. We camping and we're outside, so we don't know what to expect. I have purses and shoes. He brings a comforter and iron. And we didn't think, because we're like, okay, we're camping, but we're outside. Needless to say, that was the last time we were with some children chaperones. Needless to say, I have not been camping anymore. And that was in Wisconsin, maybe almost 10 years ago.
Yes, indeed. And we got my line brother, Patrick Perry, on. What's going on, PP?
Yeah, the only time I was required to camp was at basic training. I ain't did it since.
Yes, indeed. That good old basic training, man. But we're going to jump off in this SEAC. Before we talk about the tournament, let's just run down the all-conference honors. For the SEAC first team was Randy McClure out of Albany State, James Eads out of Tuskegee, Darweshi Hunter out of Central State, Chase Shelman out of Spring Hill, Avery Brown out of Miles. And the second team is Jelani Watson Gale out of Miles, Romaine Thomas out of Clark, Atlanta, excuse me, Miles Thomas out of Tuskegee, Sean Fox Brennan out of Fort Valley State, and Tyler Singleton, Clark, Atlanta. And the coach of the year was Fred Watson out of Miles. And the defensive player of the year was Romaine Thomas out of Clark, Atlanta. The freshman of the year, Darweshi Hunter, Central State. Newcomer of the year, Darweshi Hunter, Central State. And the player of the year, Avery Brown, Miles. So, just these players have worked hard to get to this tournament. And now for the women. All right. And of course, repeating as first team, Ayana Bay out of Benedict, Tiffany Valentine, Spring Hill, Sakina Wynn, Miles, Keandra Archie Payne, Shakira Gilbert, Central State, LaMontazia Blair, Lemoyne-On, Leandria Gillis, Savannah State, Nola Carter, Fort Valley State, Alexandria James, Albany State, India Blakely, Tuskegee, and the coach of the year is Philip Wallace, Miles. Defensive player of the year, Rayana Johnson, Miles. Freshman of the year, Amari Hurd, Savannah State. Newcomer of the year, Takala Austin, Savannah State. And the player of the year is Ayana Bay and Benedict. Kels, what do you think about all of the athletes that have earned these honors for a hard-fought season in the SEAC?
It's an amazing thing out of listening to those. Now, with Miles walking away with the championship and with Benedict, I guess one of those people that I can remotely or say that I can relate to would be Romaine Thomas, which is, of course, out of Clark, Atlanta. The funny thing is Romaine was hurt all last season. So to see him come back and see him do what he did this year, it was different. Now we're after we saw all his stats, we're like, yep, we remember that game. Yep, you got those in that game. Yep, you got him against Morehouse. We remembered the game that he actually got his stats on. But now to see that it's the senior year and this is it, it's like, okay, now you lose a player that you've been following for the last 4 years or 3 years. So I think the honors are well deserved with each of those athletes, especially, on the side, like you said, they earned their way for those tournaments. So I think it's well deserved for those athletes.
Yes, indeed. So I got my bracket pulled up. So let's run through this SEAC tournament right quick. In the first round, you had Savannah State, beating up on Spring Hill, 79-66. Central State defeating Fort Valley, 87-79. Clark, Atlanta defeating Kentucky State, 64-55. Tuskegee loses to Payne, 76-73. That was an upset there, Kels. And then you had Morehouse defeating Lang, 76-61. LeMoyne falls to Benedict 90-71. So let's talk about the next round. You had Miles and Savannah State, Central State and Clark, Payne and Morehouse, Benedict and Albany State. So, Kels, what do you think about those first round matchups? Did they kind of go how you expected?
Matchups they never go the way I expect them. They truly don't. Over the course of the time, I've watched teams that were number 1 seed fall to number 3, 4, 5 seed. So they don't always go as I expect. I always think that whoever wants them most in the end is who always walks away with them. Some of those teams, you do have some steals, and you have some where you purely expect it. But, you know, in this, I can't, with tournaments, I can't really say what's going to happen because there are instances when there are just, some people have bad nights. They just have bad game days.
You're right. And that can happen a lot. Now to run down this next bracket, Miles, of course, defeated Savannah State 85-64. Central State lost to Clark 83-77. Payne lost to Morehouse 72-54. And Albany State handled Benedict 66-62. And that sets up a Miles versus Clark, a Morehouse versus Albany State in your semifinal. So, Kels, I mean, that's a nice semifinal right there with Clark and Miles, and then Morehouse, the 3 seed in the East, battling the 1 seed in the East.
The thing is that I watched closely to see who would tank first. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was banking to see if it was going to be Clark or Morehouse. I was like, I'm going to see which one tanks first. And when Clark came back from their deficit, I was like, okay, so they and the thing is, you know, I hate these 1.2 point games. And that's what scares me. It's like, okay, you get the 1.2 point game and you move on. So if you're playing that close, you know, as you go up the rank, it's going to get harder and harder, and you got to play harder than what you did in that round. So I did. That was just me. I was trying to see who was going to fall first. I truly was. Truly was.
So now in these semifinals, you had Miles beating Clark 65-59. Morehouse falling to Albany State in another hotly contested 2-point game, which you hate, 57-55. Now this championship in the SEAC is the 1 team from the West and the 1 team from the East battling it out for that trophy in the SEAC Kills. So let everybody know who walked out with the trophy between Miles and Albany State.
Of course, Miles walked away for the second time. This is a back-to-back for the second time in 30 years with a championship. So Miles is our crown champ once again for men's basketball in the SEAC. They are the SEAC tournament champs again for the second time in 30 years. So back-to-back, rather, I would say, in 30 years. And to do that, that's saying that their program is picking up steam, not only in basketball and football. So we're seeing back-to-back in both sports.
Right. I mean, Miles is becoming a little mini juggernaut, you know, in the SEAC. And,
right.
You know, I guess Savannah State's going to have something to say about that in football since they will be eligible to compete for the SEAC championship next year, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it 1 year
Correct.
or 2 years that they had to wait?
1 year.
1 year, okay.
It was 1 year.
1 year. All right, so now, you know I love women's basketball. So let's talk about this women's tournament. You know, you had in the first round, you had Clark Atlanta versus Lane, and that's the 4 team from the East versus the 5 team from the West. And Lane upset Clark 68-52. And then you had Spring Hill against Payne. Payne defeated Spring Hill 79-66. And then you had Central State versus Kentucky State. And Central State defeated Kentucky State 63-52. Kels, what do you think about those first round matchups?
Matchups there, just first round matchup. I think quarterfinals are just normal to me. It's just trying to move.
We want to jump to the quarterfinals.
Just to see where they are in the first round. But I think the quarterfinals is where I actually pick up and say, okay, this is what's happening. I do. I jump to the next one. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, you had Miles defeating Lane 54-50, and Benedict blowing out Payne 82-62. And the next quarterfinal round, you had Tuskegee blowing out Savannah State 68-41, and then LeMoyne handling Central State 68-56. And that set up your semifinal with Tuskegee versus Miles and Benedict versus LeMoyne. So Tuskegee handled business against Miles 67-62, and then Benedict rolled over LeMoyne 69-34. And that sets up your championship game, Benedict versus Tuskegee, Kel. So, let's talk about this title game.
Well, I can't. When you roll away like they rolled away again, I can't say that I didn't expect it, but it ended how it ended. I don't think I really focused in, because I'm gonna tell you honestly, I was hoping that I was expecting Clark rather to make more of a run than they did, and they didn't. So I don't think I really zoned in to know that Benedict was doing as much as they were. But I do. I want to go into this setup of how they do seeding for, I guess, across the conferences, because sometimes it confuses me with the seeding. And I get it when you start talking about, okay, Keisha beat Patrick, but Patrick lost to Derek, and Keisha beat Derek. So I understand how that goes. But it's like, okay, you got a number 1 seed, a number 5 seed. Okay, when this person plays this person, if this person loses, because this is the tiebreaker, that's when it gets confusing to me how they do the seeding. If is what confuses me.
Right. Well, I guess you could say that, maybe they need to revamp it, but I really feel like, when you get to this tournament team, seeds really go out the door. It don't matter what you did in the regular season. It matters what you do now in the tournament. Whatever seed you're given, you got to take it, roll with it. The old slogan in the NBA, in the NCAA time, win or go home. So you got to win or you go home, regardless of where you are. So, ready to jump over to the CIAA?
Let's roll it.
All right. So
let's take a commercial break first.
Okay, we'll be right back after this quick commercial break, and we'll be talking about the CIAA conference.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience, and we're ready to jump into the CIAA. And, CIAA has become one of my favorite conferences to follow. I guess it's because I'm from the South, and I've always been so in tune to the SWAC. I knew about the MEAC, of course, but I knew very little about the CIAA and the SEAC. But, of course, one of my favorite players of all time came from Bowie State. So I have grown to have an affinity for the CIAA. I love the way that these teams compete. I love the new rivalries that I have been able to learn about. I'm just enamored by this conference, and, having, a chance to talk about it on Black College Experience is amazing. And so let's get right down to it. Let's see here. Let's see, get the brackets up here. All right, it's tournament time. Yes. In the HBCU basketball. All right, so sometimes I hate this Mac. It just really messes things up for me. I might switch back to my Windows machine. All right, so in the opening round and quarterfinals, you had Virginia State defeating Livingstone 57-45. Virginia Union had a bye. Then Bowie State blew out Shawkills. You know, I was rooting for. Oh, this is the women. Bowie State, it said men, but they popped up as the women. So Bowie State defeated Shaw 73-47. Johnson C. Smith had the bye. Elizabeth City State handled St. Aug's by 5, 70-67. Fayetteville State had the bye. Winston-Salem State defeated Claflin 60-51. Lincoln had the bye. So I picked Lincoln to win. That was my squad. Lincoln has shocked a lot of people this season with their play, but I picked Lincoln, unfortunately. Lincoln in the next round lost to Winston-Salem State 63-59. Fayetteville State defeated Elizabeth City State 64-52. Bowie State defeated Johnson C. Smith 48-47. Virginia Union blew up Virginia State. Wow, talk about rivals. 83-43. And that sets up the semifinals, which was Virginia Union and Bowie State, and Fayetteville State and Winston-Salem State. So, Kez, what do you think about that four-squad matchup?
I don't think I picked a squad for CIAA, but I did kind of follow Winston-Salem. I think I was following them, but I didn't really pick a squad. Well, we weren't on last week, but I didn't pick any squads to see, who would do what. But the great thing is they streamed all their games, so everybody was able to see them if you want. I guess you had to pay for it, but they had their game streaming. And I think that this is being that this is the last year in Carolina, I think it did pretty well. But I didn't pick a squad. I did not.
We're gonna have to make sure we put you on the spot. Pick a squad for next year. Can't let you get away. Gotta put you in the corner, man. Pick a team. All right. So Bowie State defeated Virginia Union 53-41. Fayetteville State blew out Winston-Salem State 64-47. And that sets up our final, Bowie State versus Fayetteville State. And Fayetteville State claimed the CIAA, the last one in Charlotte, 61-53. Let's talk about that game. What do you think about that game, Kills? I mean, Bowie State was blasting everybody, but they fell to Fayetteville State.
Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Monday, any given day, rather, in all honesty, anything can happen again. Like I said, I've watched teams that are top seed called to teams that are 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's just any given day. Who wants it more? And in this case, who wanted it more?
It was Fayetteville State. And let's congratulate Bowie State's, I think I'm probably going to butcher her name, Kajaya Williams. She is the winner of the Women's Low Senior Class Award for her play on the basketball court and for her efforts in the classroom. So want to give her a round of applause. So congratulations to you, Kajaya Williams. You really have earned the award that when you're successful on the basketball court and also successful in the classroom, that makes you a double-edged sword in society, especially when she graduates. If she wants to play pro basketball overseas, she can go and do that, or she can go ahead and start her career in whatever her major is. So, I love to see an athlete receive such an award that is not just for athletics, but also for academics. Because what do you think about that?
I think things, and that's a conversation I actually had with Trevion yesterday. Their academics comes before them being athlete, and of course it's student athlete. So that's how I refer to them, student athletes. You're a student in the classroom first, and it's your grades that keep you on the court, on the field, wherever you are. So when it comes to that, we see all of our HBCUs where they're actually 3.0s and ups, and that you have 125, 150 and up, whatever students through all of those sports throughout the athletic department, and they have maintained those GPAs, it makes you feel good because, of course, we all know that kicks over to APR. And we all know that's what keeps us competing. So we have to do what we have to do in the classroom. So to keep, like you said, those double honors, it's a great thing. Exactly.
Now we're ready to jump over to the men's tournament. All right. And the open runner quarterfinals, Claflin defeated Elizabeth City State 70-60, not an upset. Virginia State had to buy Livingstone. They're the one who pulled the upset 74-70 over Bowie State. Winston State had the bye. St. Aug's defeated Lincoln 66-61. Johnson C. Smith had the bye. Fayetteville State blew out Shaw 80-65. Virginia Union had the bye. And then the next round was Claflin beating Virginia State 63-58. Winston-Salem State defeating Livingstone 71-52. Johnson C. Smith defeating St. Aug's 70-68. Fayetteville State defeating Virginia Union 72-67. And that sets up our semifinals, Claflin versus Winston-Salem State and Johnson C. Smith versus Fayetteville State. And in the first semifinal, the 1 seed got put out. You had a 4 and a 2 seed, 4 South and 2 South in one semifinal. So, Kels, these 4 squads out of the CIAA, what do you think about this matchup heading into to decide the final for the CIAA men's basketball tournament?
It is what it is. All I had to say.
All right. So, Winston-Salem State handled business and defeated Claflin 58-56 in a highly contested game. They go those 2-point games you don't like. And then Fayetteville State defeats the 1 South. What's that?
I said the 2-point heartbreakers. Those are the most heartbreaking games.
Oh, yeah.
There's 2 people on the end of those games. The winner, which is going to be excited, and the loser that's going to be really hurt. It's the worst game to watch.
Right. And then you had Fayetteville State upsetting Johnson C. Smith 56-48, and that set up a matchup between Winston-Salem State and Fayetteville State, and this was a nail-biter. 63-62 victory for Winston-Salem State. Kels, what do you think about Winston-Salem State pulling out the CIAA championship over Fayetteville State?
The great thing that, again, it's 2 people on the end of the stick, but I think that's a lot of hustle. That's a last minute. We wanted it for one point, and I think that's something you can live with for the rest of their lives to say we won a game by 1 point. And their opponent is going to live with we lost the game by 1 point.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. You know, some people would rather get blown out than lose like that. Me, I don't want to get blown out. I'm for the nail biter, heart stopper. Don't get me wrong. You know, this year I had a big game in my life that I couldn't talk no noise until 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So, you know, I'm glad we didn't have one of them 2-point, 3-point nail biters that you don't like to watch in the Super Bowl. That's my Chiefs. You know, yes, I'm still celebrating to this day. My Chiefs won the Super Bowl for the first time in 50 years, so I'm excited. So now we're ready to jump over to the GCAC, one of my favorite conferences. Actually, you know, my HBCU roots are at Tougaloo. You know, way before Jackson State, as far as, you know, me hanging out as a child. You know, I went to Jackson State football games, of course, but, you know, the first HBCU college campus that I was running around on was Tougaloo as a child, as a young child. My cousin went to Tougaloo. I went to NYSP summer camp on Tougaloo's campus. You know, I was always up there visiting my cousin, you know, and Tougaloo just always has a special place in my heart. So to see Tougaloo doing well in sports, especially coached by a man who I know and respect, Coach Billups, I really, really like seeing that. So let's run down this. We're going to start in the women first. Talladega versus Suno. Talladega whooped Suno in their last year of playing basketball because they're shutting down their sports. So Talladega sends Suno home. Rust College, coached by my frat coach Jackson, they whipped up on Dillard 61-57. Philander Smith beat up on Tougaloo women 91-80. And Everett Waters lost to Xavier 64-62. All right, so on the women, you had Russ versus Philander Smith. Philander Smith won 67-62. And then in the semifinal, Talladega defeated Xavier 70-44. And that matched up Talladega versus Philander Smith for the GCAC Women's Championship.
And the winner is Philander Smith.
Yes, beating up on a 1 seed.
What did I just say?
Beating up on a 1 seed.
Number 1 seed. That's true.
So
they did 68-50. So it wasn't even close. I'm like, you say you want the nail biters. I'll take the blowout. Give me like a 5 or 10 point stretch. I don't want you beating me 51-50, 52-53. I don't need that kind of problem. I don't.
Right.
That's a heartbreaker.
Right, and I'm checking. Let's go down to men right quick. On the men, 1 seed Xavier blew out Russ 87-57. Tougaloo handled Suno 88-65. Talladega defeated Philander Smith 101-70. Dillard defeated Ed Waters 76-73. And in the men, you had Tougaloo defeated Talladega 90-78, and Xavier defeated Dillard in that rivalry 72-68. So that set up 1 seed Xavier versus Tougaloo, and I'm trying to find the winner of the game. I'm on GCAC's Twitter right now. The last score that's reported was a halftime lead for Tougaloo, 39-33. So hopefully before the end of the show, I will get that post up. So I'm pretty sure the score is up somewhere, but I'm on Gulf Coast Athletic Conference Twitter, and I'm still waiting for them to post the winner of the game. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm hoping Tougaloo held on. I'm hoping Coach Billups, because they got they got upset in first round of the NAIA tournament this year, so to be right back and winning the GCAC to get ready again to go see what they can do in that NAIA tournament. I expected this from Coach Billups because I've seen him coach take a team that no one thought was going to win, and they win state. So I'm hoping that Tougaloo was able to pull out that win over Xavier. I went to the Black College Sports Network's page to see if I could watch the game, but I wasn't able to get the stream up. So, so we just gotta wait for that information to be posted. But while we're waiting for that, we do have. Go ahead. You have the winner, Kel?
I would say, well, while we're there, and since we're there, we will. Women's basketball coach of the year was Eric Jackson Jr. from Rust College. So that was for the women's basketball coach. And he led the 23rd ranked Lady Bearcats to a 23-5 season, which was 12-2 in the GCAC regular season record. So that's a really high. And then of course, Alfred Williams was the men's basketball coach of the year, of course, from Xavier. He had a 24-5 season. So, of course, he has learned, let's see, it looks like he's earned at least he's earned a conference title in 2 of the past 3 years. So, again, congratulations to him from over Xavier. So, it's a lot. You're watching CIAA, and I'm keeping an eye on GCAC. So, we've ventured out of our comfort zones to watch. And they're for people that they're playing ball over at the GCAC, too, because they don't have football. So, basketball is their only thing. And track and field. So they have other sports that don't have football. So they have to grind it out when it comes to basketball.
Yeah, most definitely. And so, in the GCAC have these conference honors. First team was Kamisha Walker out of Russ. Talladega had 3 ladies on the first team: Brijani Moore, Taisha Juan, Diamond Jolly, and Philander Smith had the last lady, Terrellyn Dominic. Second team All GCAC: Katie Blackman, Russ, Ciara Pettis, Philander Smith, LaQuanza Glover, Edward Waters, Amari Pittman, Tougaloo, Shay Johnson, Russ. All defense: Johnny Moore, Tougaloo, Terrellyn Dominic, Philander Smith, Diamond Jolly, Talladega, Kamisha Walker, Russ, and Katie Blackman, also Russ. Newcomer of the year was Amari Pittman, Tougaloo. A freshman of the year was Denai Dillard. I love her name. People, you know why. McZeal. Defensive player of the year, Brijani Moore, Talladega. And the player of the year out of Russ College, Kamisha Walker, Russ. I mean, I'm proud because Russ is in my home state of Mississippi, and they're coached by my frat, Eric Jackson. So I'm happy for him building that squad up from where they were before he got there. And on the men's side, all right, the men's honors. Let's see here. First team All GCAC is Morris Dunnigan, Senior, Talladega, Malik Amos, Junior, Dillard, William Lloyd, Xavier, Ladarius Woods, Tougaloo, Rayshawn Mark, Xavier. Second team Jordan Jackson, Russ, Stanley Williams, Tougaloo, DeJuan Bass, Ed Waters, Darrell Baker, Talladega, Tariel Alcorn, Dillard. All defense RJ Kelly, Talladega, Rayshawn Mark, Xavier, DeJuan Bass, Ed Waters, William Lloyd, Xavier, Stanley Williams, Tougaloo. Newcomer of the year, Darrell Baker, Talladega. Freshman of the year is TJ Jones out of Xavier and Elijah Johnson, Russ. Defensive player of the year is RJ Kelly, Talladega. And the player of the year is Malik Amos, Dillard, and Morris Dunnigan out of Talladega. And, you know, while we're waiting to see if I can find that score for the GCAC, you know, because, you know, I mean, I love watching the GCAC when I get a chance to see it. I mean, it's NAIA, so, you know, it's not big time basketball like the SEC or the ACC, but to me, this is basketball at its purest. You know, when you don't have the bright lights, big city, you got players that are just hustling, grinding, to showcase that they have ability and that they deserve to be recognized. So congratulations to all of the young ladies and young men for earning all GCAC honors. We at Black College Experience appreciate you. We watch you. We cheer for you. And I just want to let you guys know that. Kels?
But I do agree because a lot of times we don't talk about the GCAC in depth like we talk about the SWAC, the MEAC, the CIAA. You know, we talk about every other conference, but we don't talk about them as much in detail. Same thing with other independent conferences and even Tennessee State. So, you know, we do. Sometimes we overlook things, but because it's their season, of course, it's time. And then we get into track and field and things of that nature. So with other sports they have, it's like, okay, we have to tackle those sports as well.
Most definitely. So now we got about 20 minutes left in the show. So we still have to preview the MEAC and the SWAC tournaments. Kels, you want to go first? Who you want to go with first? Our home conference, the SWAC, or with the MEAC?
Let's go with the SWAC because the SWAC is coming up next week.
All right. So, before we talk about the tournament, there's been a feel-good story happening for the SWAC. And it's out of my hometown, Jackson, Mississippi, out of my hometown school, Jackson State University. And it involves a young man who I went to school with his brother, a guy by the name of Thomas. He has a nickname, Snacks Lee. You know, he's the Jackson State basketball manager. And he got a chance to shine, Kels. Hit a big three. Did you see the video of that? I know you did, but, you know, what do you think about that shot that Thomas Snacks Lee hit?
I've been telling people all week, if you ain't a fan, you will become a fan. I've been a fan all week, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a Jackson State fan. So I was like, I'm truly a fan of what he did, because in the, everything that he's been on this week, I've watched it. I've watched the videos he's done. I watched the video when he hit the shot. I watched the video when he went on to Good Day America or America, whatever that is. I watched that. Everything I've watched. Yeah, Good Morning America. I've watched everything that he's done this week. So when he was telling the story of saying how, the coach let him warm, he always warms up. And so the coach had told the team to try to get ahead at least by double digits so he could get in the game. And it's senior night. And for him to come in and hit that three from Steph Curry range, and they made him SWAC Player of the Week, it's just like, I don't know anybody besides celebrities that go viral 5 million views overnight. Like 5 million views.
Right.
Like it was the craziest thing. And then I remember seeing him tag Kevin Durant. And so he was like, that's my favorite player. Y'all help him retweet me. So Kevin Durant ends up retweeting him. He got an autographed jersey, he got 4 tickets. It was just amazing to see him go viral like that. But I think the best thing out of all that stuff that he did, it wasn't that. The most important thing to me is when he got on TV, not only did he pay homage to his team, but he was representing Jackson State for the world to see it. He could have worn anything on that TV, but he wore that Jackson State jersey. And I think that's so important for us. We have to put our schools on display. He had that jersey. They was playing Get Ready in the background. I was like, they did play. They would play that one. That's when he came onto the show. They was playing Get Ready, and they had the little foam fingers. But I've watched everything that he's done just this week. I was just like, it's crazy because it's a great feeling. Like, I was like, dang, you became a celebrity overnight.
That's right. That is definitely right. So just run down the last week of scores in the SWAC on the women's side.
Can I interrupt?
Go ahead, PP.
Oh, this game is over with. Xavier won 78-75. It was on YouTube. Check it out.
Man, they let them come back and win.
Well, at least it was by 3 points and not 1 point.
Oh, I feel so bad for Coach Billups. Y'all got to realize I'm a Coach Billups fan. I've watched this man coach basketball ever since I can remember. Even though he coached at one of my rival high schools, Lanier. What he did at Lanier is just unrivaled. And to know that he could have had him at Valley, and we didn't hire him, that still makes me mad to this day.
That still gets me, yeah.
Yes. So let's just run down the last week of scores in the women's basketball before we preview the tournament. Texas Southern blows out Alcorn 81-67. Grambling State edged out Alabama State 69-68. The pupil defeated the student Kells as Coach Funches defeated Coach Pugh. Southern versus Prairie View 63-51. Arkansas Pine Bluff blew out our Lady Devil SPP 81-59. And in the upset of the week, Kells. And I can't take the blame for this because I didn't give the Lady Tigers a nickname this week. Alabama A&M upset Coach Tamika Reed and the regular season champion Jackson State Lady Tigers 75-71. I don't know, the Alabama A&M Bulldog fans were rocking the house. All on social media, they were talking about this upset, Kells. Is that going to hold any merit in the tournament?
It doesn't hold any merit in the tournament, in my opinion. If those girls, if the Lady Bulldogs play like they played, then they would stand a chance. They're gonna have to play hard throughout the tournament. But I do not believe. I don't believe that Coach Reed will be shook by that. Again, you can just have some bad games, and even the game. Who did they lose to earlier? Was it Prairie View they lost to before?
Prairie View, I believe.
I think it was Prairie View they lost to before. So that's when you jinxed them the first time. So I think it's just a bad game. It is. It's just a bad game, but you do. But I'm interested. I'm excited about this week of tournament, seeing how it's about to kick off. We are about to be in good old Birmingham, and of course, it has the location has changed to UAB, so we will no longer be at the same spot. We will now be at UAB. You said what? Yeah, it'll be in UAB. So, you know, it's exciting to see, but again, that those brackets are set. And then, of course, Jackson State will play Alabama State. A&M will play Alcorn. Texas Southern will play UNC, and then Southern will take on Purdue.
Let's pick. No, I'm not letting you escape. Jackson State versus Alabama State, Kills. Who you? Well, let's first. No, we're not gonna pick each one. So who you got for the tournament? The tournament champ. Who you picking?
You said for tournament champ.
Yeah, tournament champ. We ain't gonna do game by game because I ain't got time to take all that down. We ain't got time. So pick who you. I know you probably gonna roll with your Lady Jags because they've been playing good on the coach funches. But who is going to win the SWAC Women's Tournament Championship?
If I had to for my guess, I would definitely take Jackson State at this point. I would say Jackson State is going to win.
Okay, PP, who you picking?
Best player in the SWAC is on that team on Lynch Street, so I'm gonna go with
that team
them.
on Lynch Street.
Yeah,
I'm gonna roll with my home squad, Tamika Reed, to win the SWAC Women's Tournament. So that's 3 all sweeping for Jackson State in the women. On the men's side, Kills, we have Prairie View versus Alabama A&M, Southern versus Alabama State, Texas Southern versus Grambling State, Jackson State with Snacks versus Alcorn State.
Tournament champs, I'm going to take Prairie View.
You taking Prairie View. PP?
I'm going to go with Southern.
You know what? I agree with you, LB. I'm gonna roll with them Jaguars too. I just feel, I mean, they have a seasoned coach in Coach Sean Woods who led us to the SWAC championship. Now he is doing the same thing for Kels's Southern Jaguars. I am gonna roll with Coach Woods and the Jags to win the SWAC the SWAC tournament and head to March Madness. I can't wait to see how these games play out. Kels, you sticking with Southern, or you gonna change? Are you sticking with Prairie View, or you gonna change to your home squad?
No, I'm sticking with Prairie View. I'm still going with Prairie View.
No, I just wanted to check now because I'm
not changing. I'm still going. Yeah,
all right. So in the women, we all feel that.
Which before we go over, it's so funny, and I think about because y'all can't see. Everybody got their own school, has their own groups. So y'all have a Valley group, we have Southern groups, and I just think about all the people that complained about Coach Woods and we're not winning and we're not doing anything. And I'm like, well, it's his first year. Give him a year. I was like, give him a year. Now look,
we're going through the same thing at Valley, but yeah.
Yep. I'm like, give him a year. Here we are, a year later, and so I'm gonna wait and see all the people because if we do win, I'm gonna just wait. I'm gonna say, remember last year when y'all were complaining about Coach Woods, and here we are, 12-5.
Yeah, I mean, here the thing is, since you bring up Valley, I'm hoping, there's a certain very, very talented basketball player with a very, very famous name that I'm hoping. I'm gonna wait until he lets me know if he's gonna be joining the staff at Valley. But if he does, we're definitely gonna benefit from it. He messaged me this week to say that trying to work details. I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it, but he has a very, very famous name that everyone will recognize. I'm hoping that he joins the staff, joining Lindsay on staff at Valley because he could definitely help us out. So I don't think we're going to be in the SWAC settle alone. And this is someone who, if Lindsay ever leaves, could potentially step in to be a head coach, not just because of his name, but because of who he was coached by in high school and what he has done in his basketball career. So whenever I get that message from him to let me know I can run my mouth, I will be saying that. But, I mean, I've given it away kind of sort of if you think about it. But I can't wait to see what happens with the SWAC tournament. Women, I'm hoping my good buddy Tamika Reed can be cut down the nets and head to March Madness. I'm hoping my pick, Keisha Southern Jaguars, is able to, head to March Madness as well. So now we're ready to jump over into the MEAC. To me, The MEAC is our sister conference because that's the closest conference that I know about outside of now knowing about the SEAC and CIAA. So let's look at the men's tournament bracket. And it's been MEAC has been on fire lately, just getting all kinds of publicity. I mean, that North Carolina A&T and NCCU game, it generated so much buzz. Even though they're our rival conference, I was so proud to see just the buzz that was generated by that game. So now I have the tournament bracket up. Of course, the 1 seed is North Carolina Central. But in the first game, you will have 8 seed Delaware State going up against Maryland Eastern Shore. You have 7 seed North Carolina State going up against Howard. I hate how they got this bracket like this. Then you have Bethune-Cookman, the 4 seed, playing against. You know what, Kels? That's kind of weird. This really kind of, makes me think what you were saying about how they do the seedings. Why would the 8 team play the 9 team? Why would the 4 team play the 5 team? So then North Carolina A&T has the bye, being the number 2 seed, and then it's not letting me see the game 12 matchup. I swear, Max. But that's kind of weird to have that like that.
I guess it's with the double. Since the top 2 seed get a bye and everybody getting in the tournament, like Eastern Shore, them since they don't have football or whatever, I guess they just opening it up for them and letting them in the.
I guess, but you shouldn't have you should have your. It should be a hierarchy. You shouldn't have your 4 and 5 playing each other in the first round, then your 8 and 9 playing each other in the first round. It should be the other way around. It should be the 4 playing the 9 and the 5 playing the 8. But hey, who am I? I'm just some guy who went to an HBCU that loves talking about sports. So I guess we'll go from there. Get the women's bracket up. So hey, I guess we'll see. Because I definitely see your point talking about the seedings. I don't like these seedings, but hey, you just got to deal with it. All right, number 1 Bethune-Cookman has a bye, and then number 8 Maryland Eastern Shore will play number 9 Coppin State, and number 4 North Carolina A&T will play number 5 North Carolina Central. Number 7 Howard will play number 10 South Carolina State. Norfolk State will have the bye. And number 3 Morgan State will play number 6 Delaware State. Let me get this last men's game. Let's see if I can zoom out, if it's going to let me. Yeah, I think that one's cut off. So, on the men's side, Kels, and of course the tournament will be March 10th through March 14th in Norfolk, Virginia. Who you taking in this tournament?
The over. Hello?
Yeah, okay, you're back. You kind of went out there, so I'm glad you're back.
Oh.
I was asking you for your predict your winner.
No, I heard you. I said overall winner. Are you asking for the overall winner?
Yeah, the overall winner for the MEAC men's tournament champion.
So I'm going to take North Carolina A&T.
All right. PP, who you rocking with?
Is Moulton still coaching in Central?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going with them.
You know what? I'm not gonna make this no sweep. I'm gonna roll with North Carolina A&T. And here's the thing: I hope they both meet in the final. These 2 teams have been dominating the MEAC across all sports. And congratulations to North Carolina A&T for winning their 4th consecutive indoor track and field championship, men's and women. That's been dominant. I'm gonna roll with the A&T. For the men. On the women's side, who you rolling with? Top two teams are Bethune-Cookman and Norfolk State.
I'm going to take Norfolk State in this. Yeah, I'm going to take Norfolk State.
PP?
I'm going to go with A&T since they lost last year when they was the number 1 seed. So I'm thinking that they're going to win this year.
Right. I'm going to roll with Bethune-Cookman. So, we got 3 different choices for the women. I'm rolling with Bethune-Cookman. You're rolling with A&T. Keisha, you rolling with Norfolk?
No, you said Norfolk and Bethune-Cookman. So you only gave me 2 choices.
Okay, so who you rolling with for the women?
I was thinking I only had 2 choices, but A&T would be my choice too.
Okay, all right.
I was thinking I only had 2 choices.
My bad. All right, so we have our picks for the SWAC and the MEAC. But before we get out of here, I want to highlight other schools that have made postseason runs. One that's kind of burned me up right now because they had a chance to win this game. Hampton, Kales. We were watching the game, Hampton versus Winthrop for the Big South title. Did you get a chance to see the replay where they gave Winthrop that ball after that free throw?
I did not. I think
and the coach was so angry. Hampton ended up falling to Winthrop. But that play helped Winthrop, even though they were ahead, it helped them extend their lead, and it took the momentum away that Hampton had built. I mean, hey, I'm one for saying, hey, you go into someone's house and you beat them. But hey, they got to stop with these tournaments on people's home floors. That's a home field advantage for Winthrop, hands down. And, Hampton, had a lot of upsets in the Big South tournament to even get to this point. So I'm very proud of their effort in the Big South tournament. I'm just really, really bothered by that referee. Winthrop, here's this in the Winthrop missed the free throw. Before the Hampton player could get the rebound, the referee blew the whistle. Why? I don't know. So Winthrop made 1 free throw. So if they make the other free throw, that's 2 points made, and Hampton gets the ball. Well, in this situation, they blew the whistle, gave Winthrop the ball, and they converted a 2-point basket. That's a 3-point swing. So that kind of took the momentum away from Hampton. And, of course, Hampton took some ill-advised threes also. But they battled back, and they just fell in the game. But we have some other HBCUs that have been in action postseason-wise. I just want to run down those before we get ready to get out of here. All right. So we just talked about Hampton. The Hampton women start the Big South tournament next week. West Virginia State knocked out of the semifinals by West Liberty, 88-81. The West Virginia State women lose to Glenville State, 124-84. Let's see here. Langston women. Let's see here. They lose in the first round to Oklahoma City State. That was not a good game. I mean, it was a blowout. Let's see here. Lincoln, Missouri ends this season with a loss to number 1 Northwest Missouri. And Tennessee State men and women both lose in the OVH tournament. So, even though these teams did not win their championships, we want to give kudos to them for their efforts and making it to the postseason. So, Kels, go ahead and close us out.
So, before we get out of here, one of the things I want to highlight, there is for people that don't know, Clark Atlanta's men's basketball coach, George Lynch, which also played pro basketball, and he played for UNC. He is doing a swim camp here at Clark Atlanta. It's a free camp. It's also sponsored. It's sponsored, or he's partnered with HBCU Heroes, which is Tracy Pennywell, which I've also got in contact with. Starting this Saturday, March 14th, 21st, and 28th. from 8:30 to 3 p.m. They're going to do these 3 times a camp. And, of course, again, he's doing this for the community, and it is a free camp. I did want to talk about the Combine, but we ran out of time.
Yeah, we're going to do that next week.
But the other thing is, well, I guess I'll just wait. I'll just wait till next week. So that's it. It's been a great show.
All right, we out of here. Peace out. Catch us next week where we will talk about that Combine. Most definitely. We promise you that. Have a good night.